Hello my friends, David Kessler here and welcome back to the studio. We're working on part 2 of a multi-part painting series where you get to see me paint a painting. I'm going through the whole process, right? I'm selecting the color scheme, which I did in video 1. In this video, we're going to go to the palette and I'm going to show you the colors that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to mix some color and get ready for doing the painting. Now, just as a reminder of what we're doing an analogous color scheme. Analogous meaning on the color wheel, 4 colors adjacent to each other. So I'm going to be using yellow, green, green, blue, green, and blue. Right, and my dominant color is going to be blue-green. My non-dominant is blue, and my accent color really is going to be more yellow-green than green. And with an analogous color scheme, I'm going to rely mostly on value contrast to develop the center of interest, as opposed to color contrast, which I would have if I was going to use a complementary scheme or a triadic scheme. Okay? So, and we talked last time about the materials. I'm using golden heavy body paint, basically just brushes. We're going to start on a canvas, 30 by 30 canvas. It has gesso, textural gesso a little bit put on the surface. Right? And that's about it. So let's go to the palette, check out the colors. All right, here we are at the palette. Now let's go over the colors that we're going to be using for this painting demonstration. We have benzomidazoline light, which is benzomidazoline yellow, short for benz. And I put the colors here in the order that I have them on the palette. Right, so benz is the yellow. Basically, I'm going to use this one for making yellow-green. I've got pyrrole orange here, which has a lot of red in it. It's an orange with a lot of red. So what I'm going to do with the orange, and you say, well, what has he got that on the palette for if he's using analogous colors? I'm going to take this and mix it with all of these other colors to help neutralize those colors a little bit before we get started. All right, this is teal. This is cerulean blue deep. This is anthraquinone blue, which is indigo blue. And you don't have to buy anthraquinone blue. You don't have to buy indigo blue. You can make this blue. It's essentially ultramarine blue and black. So it's a nice, deep, rich, warm blue. Okay. And here I have Viridian Hue, Cobalt Turquoise, Minty G, which is a mixture that I make up myself. It's basically phthalo green, benzimidazolone yellow, white, and just a touch of pyrrole orange. This is cobalt green, right? So these are all, so I got blues, these are all blue-green, really, cobalt green, and then this is Jenkins green, which is a beautiful, warm green. For me, it's very much, you know, a natural green, tree green, shrub green, great for landscape paintings. I probably won't use too much of that, except for making a yellow-green for this particular painting. And the next, of course, is titanium white. And you see how much white I have out here. And I probably may use all of this white, because it's going to have a lot of white, I suspect, in this painting. All right, so the first thing I want to do is take these colors. And what I'm going to do is pull out a little bit of color. I'm going to add a little of this orange to each one. And the orange, this is kind of a red orange, so it's going to work both for the greens and for the blues. So I'm going to neutralize a little bit, and then I'm going to take part of it and add some white to it. All right, so I get a couple of different values in there. And I might actually need some more of this, so let's make a little bit more of this neutralized color, which is beautiful. And you can see the difference between what's on the palette here and the pile there. It's a significant difference in the neutralized color. So we'll pull some cerulean blue out. Do the same thing here. And the reason I pull some of this out is I don't want to mix this whole thing in here, because eventually I want to, you know, if I don't use all the color, I want to put it back in the jar. So if I mix all of it together initially, that keeps me from being able to put it in the jar later. All right, so that would mean wasting a lot more paint. All right, here we go. Now to the indigo. And to be honest, it's fairly well neutralized, but I will put a little bit in it. This will darken the color as well as help to neutralize the color just a bit. And we'll lighten a little bit. See, that's still pretty bright. You can start to see the ultramarine blue in there. Oops, let me get the white off. All right, that's better. All right, now for the Viridian. The Viridian is very bright, so it really needs to be neutralized out of the jar. It's a very bright color. And almost always needs to have some mixing done before it's able to be used. Oh yeah, babe, that's beautiful. Exactly what I'm looking for there. Cobalt turquoise, which is already a little bit neutralized, but we'll add a little bit of orange to it. And note that I'm using a lot of paint here, right? And I have a big palette. Here. If you're seeing a little bit of reflection, what you're probably seeing is wax paper. I have a piece of plexiglass laying here, which is the white surface underneath. And for ease of cleaning, I put this wax paper on the top just to make it easier to clean up later. And I also use that in my workshops as my palette when I travel. Okay. All right, now with the Minty G, we're going to do a couple of things with this. One, we're going to add a little bit of this orange to it. And some white like we've done with these other colors. I'm going to do that on this side. And then over here I'm going to pull a little color away and I'm going to mix the yellow in with it so we can get a nice yellow green. I'm going to need some more white. The yellow green is going to want to be pretty bright. And when you're mixing yellow green, you have to keep going back to the yellow and the white, because every time you add one or the other, it tends to, particularly when you add the white to the yellow green, it really dilutes the yellow. You have to sort of keep going back and forth. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Okay. Beautiful. Now this is cobalt green, which I always refer to as the color of Arizona. Because a lot of things that you see in Arizona are cobalt green. Cobalt green is already neutralized. You see that? It's not a bright color, it's already a neutralized color, so I'm not going to add any orange to the cobalt green. Beautiful color. One of the things I did want to do up here, and I just remembered, I wanted to mix some of the cerulean blue and the indigo together. Add a little orange. It's a really nice mixture together. The last is the Jenkins green. And what I'm going to do with the Jenkins green is just make a yellow green. And it's going to be a pretty intense, yellow. And I had never heard of a Jenkins green until a few years ago. One of my students told me about it. She said she loved it, and I started buying it after that, and I said, gosh, you know, this is a really great color, and I wish more people knew about it. Jenkins green. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh yeah, babe. And that may not be bright enough, but we'll leave it like that for now until we get into the paint. All right, so that's it. We've got benzimidazolone yellow, pyrrole orange, teal, cerulean blue deep, anthraquinone blue, viridian, cobalt turquoise, minty G, cobalt green, Jenkins green, and titanium white. And I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.